There we go. So we'll let you jump in, Samuel, and just have a chat, and I'll field any questions for you. If anyone wants to drop anything into the chat, we can let you do that.
Sure. Yeah, so I guess I'll start by briefly introducing myself. I'm Samuel. I'm the current CEO of I actually just recently assumed the position back in April of this year, succeeding my predecessor, Frank John, who is now focusing on some new business ventures inside our company. I co-founded the brand with Frank back in 2019, and I have been mainly focusing on product development and creativity in the past few years. Now that Frank has some new ventures to jump into, that's why I kind of took over the baton and stepped up. I'm also very passionate about our products and our mission to create writing products that are fun and imaginative, hopefully. And I'm very glad to join all of you here today.
We're very glad to have you, Samuel. It's lovely to have you. That's probably a good question for me straight away. Then, almost as well, I think my bandwidth is my internet's terrible today. I don't actually. No, there we go. Absolutely terrible internet today. I'm just going to let you keep chatting because my internet's terrible today, Samuel.
Sure. So yeah, I saw a question in the chat saying what prompted you to start another pen company in the first place. Actually a quite interesting story. So my co-founder Frank and I were actually high school classmates. We had this idea back in high school. Has been a very long time pen collector himself, and he's always been very enthusiastic about all aspect of pens, whereas I was quite new to pens at the time. But I have always been very into creativity, aesthetics, and design related stuff. We were math class desk mates, and then he was showing me all like his pen collections, and I was just wondering, why his pens were not colorful and not really I guess I wasn't seeing a huge variation between his pens. So, I was like, are there any pens that are colorful, that are look interesting? And then, we were just like, if we're not seeing any of those, why don't we just create them ourselves? So that's kind of where the idea started. That was back in 2016, 17, I believe. That's when the idea first came up, and then we kind of leaned into it, and then we explored our options, and then Frank had kind of that were able to help us get started. And then I was mainly on, designing our first batch of pens, selecting colors, and then working on our presentation aesthetics, and then that's kind of how we first started. We released our first pen back in 2019 at the DC Fountain Pen Show, and that's kind of where everything started. And I see another question for any more plans for future purple pens? Yeah, purple is actually one of my favorite colors, so we're definitely gonna have more purple pens.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we're actually, it's kind of like a spoiler, but we're actually working on a new collection of pens that we're hoping to release early next year, which will definitely debut with a purple color in it, just because it's my favorite color. But yes, definitely more purple pens. Yes, another question here. Why Narwhal? And is the new name still pronounced Narwhal? Yes, the name is The word is actually the Icelandic version of the English. We picked this name because we know Iceland is where is the origin of the actual sea creature narwhal. That's kind of why we went with the for trademark trademark, we just went with the name. And then when we're trying to get trademark for the name, we were told that the word narwhal is too generic to be a brand. That's why we had to make the change. And then we just went with the Icelandic version of the word narwhal. And then since narwhal is easy to pronounce for everybody, so that's kind of why we kept pronunciation still as narwhal. So yes, we still call ourselves narwhal. Yes. And I see another question. What are you and beautiful, but what writing experience are you trying to achieve? So I think what we're trying to achieve is great user experience in general for like all aspects of having a pen. You know, I think it starts with unpacking your pen. We want the presentation to be great. We want customers to feel great when they receive their pen and open the box. So even like starting from there, we want things to feel great. And then obviously the colorful and the aesthetics aspect of our pen is very important for us. When it comes to writing experience, it's definitely very important to us as well. That's why we are not using like just any nib from like purchased from another company, but we decided even as a startup in a new brand, we decided to create our own nibs in-house. That's one of the reasons is because we want to be able to like control the writing experience quality for our pens. And you know we have engineers with years of experiences in-house tuning our nibs, so we want to have as smooth of a writing experience as possible for everyone. So yeah, like in general, just great experience in all aspects. And if any of you have any feedback of like which part of the experience that is not as satisfying as you would hope, we are definitely also welcome for feedbacks as well. And then have a personal preference on steel versus gold. Many people say that I have different color ink. For me, it's not necessarily better than the other, just personally. And then I see Phil ask, is the new pen a whole new model? Can you say what filling system is or any other details? So yes, the new pen we're working on is a whole new model. It's so I guess it's still early, so not everything has been finalized, but I would say it got its innovation aspect in it. Um, there are things that have not been used on fountain pens before that's going to be included in the pen. And it's also very different from what we have done in the past. So it's definitely very exciting for us. It's been at least a year till now, so can't wait to release it. It's just we're still having our final touches before we get the product ready. So it's exciting. Yeah, another question from Pen writes beautifully. Thank you, pen. I guess for now, my favorite pen would be the Nautilus collection. Um, One thing I guess is because I personally designed every of it. I'm very proud of. Also, it has been really well received, which I'm very grateful for. And I do like the fact that it has the ink window to see because I have multiple of them, so I can easily tell what inks I have in it. Also, it writes great for me. I just finished writing several Christmas cards with my Nautilus, and it's been great. So yeah, so favorite, I guess, would be the Nautilus. Yeah. Um, I Nautilus is a very unique design. Thank you. Well, behind the design. So yeah, so I guess started a very long time ago. That I guess something that I have not really seen fountain pens where um it, like almost has some curvature to it. Um, it's not sharp in any way, but it's special for me, I think. It started with something like a pill shape almost, and then we kind of elaborated from there to get to where we are now. Also, we kind of experimented a lot with the ink window, and we're really glad with the final design that we went for with the porthole ink windows, and I'm also happy people liked it a lot. Um, Another question from Tom, really the broad nibs, thank you. But have a friend who like extra fine. Will we see extra fine nib in the future? And are there any other nib styles or creative nib style on the way? So the extra fine nibs has been in the talks for a long time. So we we kind of discuss nib sizes each time when we order a new batch of nibs. So it's definitely been in our horizon for a while. We will. I guess I cannot give definitive answers now, but we're also hoping to have extra fine nibs as well. For like music nibs and Zoom nibs, we currently don't have plans for those as of now. And then Steph has a question: are there any more collaborations coming, like the ones with Peter Dross? So we're really excited about collaborations. But generally speaking, as of now, I don't have any definitive answers for collaborations as well. We have some in the talks, but that are not finalized. So I guess I wouldn't be able to talk about those. But yes, we're very excited and welcoming for collaborations for sure. Yeah, if we have any coming, we would be announcing them definitely. Nick, do you plan to release more pens in your Ikaku range? So we just released some new Ikaku pens not long ago. Not sure if you have seen them on our website or social media. And the next release from the Ikaku sub brand would be next year, I believe, late January or early February, where our end of the year for Narwhal. If you have followed us before, you probably know that we have released a pen of the year 2 years ago for the year of tiger, and then this year for the year of rabbit. We're still year of dragon next year, and then there's going to be a Ikaku pen accompanying that as well. So that would be our next release there. Next question from Chris: will you have specialty nibs like cursive italic, flexible, and architect nibs? Also, can replacement nib be bought? buy them from our website right now. And for the, I think the ones listed, we have experimented with architect nibs before, but none of them are currently in the plan to be produced, just because we don't see enough demand of it for it to be produced sustainably. So for now, we don't have plans for those. From Ross, you have great taste with purple being your favorite color. Thank you so much. But which is your favorite purple ink? That is a difficult one. I guess for now, we have an ink ourselves that is currently being tested. That is the purple one that I'm currently using, but I'm not sure if it will make the cut to the market. But yeah, that's my current favorite, I would say. But there's too many great purple inks for me to mention like one or two of them. So yeah. Yes, the orchid flower is definitely one of the favorite as well. Do like a darker tone to it compared to the orchid flower, which is on the pinker side almost. Yeah. Question from Ross. So you match ink to pink color? Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. For example, we have like colorful pens that have like multiple colors on it. For those, maybe I don't try to match them. I just go with whatever I feel like. For some pens, like for our Milady Blue Nautilus, I match those for sure. And for our original Plus collection, I definitely match those. And actually, I think our original Plus collection pens I think they match really well, so I matched those as well. From Michelle, excellent news about a dragon scene pen. Thank you. Yes, they're actually currently being produced. I personally think they look very exciting. It encompass the theme of dragon, especially in the Lunar New Year setting. I think it looked really exciting. So very can't wait for all of you to see it and get our hands on it for sure. Tom has question. You now have pens and inks. Will the range from Nahvalur increase to include other accessories at all? For now, the only other category we're thinking of expanding into would be notebooks. We're in the talks about whether we should have notebooks or not, but that is the only other category we're thinking. Where we currently don't have plans for other types of accessories at the time. It would just be pens and inks and maybe notebooks in the near future, maybe not. We're not sure yet. From Dominic, are there any other pen brands you admire? Oh yeah, for sure. Like I think I really admire almost like all brands in the business just because they also create amazing products. I think I personally do not think of other brands as competitors or like people we compete with. For me, it's more like a pen community where we're trying to create exciting products. So definitely for sure. Personally, I really like the Pilot Vanishing Point. I have a few of them. I also like Lamy. I have a few Safari that got me started into fountain pens. Yeah, many brands actually. Also Pelikan, not to mention Mont Blanc. Yeah, lots of them. I do really admire all fellow pen brands for sure. Yeah, I think that also kind of answered Ross' question for if I follow, admire, collect any other pen brands. Tom said, I'm also a big fan of the Key West pen range. Thank you. I would love to see more in that range also. They're so bright and sparkly. I get a lot of compliments online when I work. Well, first of all, very great to hear that. We currently don't have plans to have more of the Key West series coming out soon. It's kind of been tabled for now, just because we have these new collections coming out, and we're focusing on, our Nautilus collection and the new Horizon collection. So the resources has kind of been moved towards them. So not for now. We don't have plans for the Key West range. And from Ross, thank you for donating to the FPUK auction. Well, definitely, it's been a really great cause, and we are very excited to participate. Oh, from we see more ink colors. I certainly hope so. We're constantly testing new colors in our ink collection. I think for us, we first come up with colors, and then we test them to see how they actually come out to be, and then we test how they write, how they feel, if they flow well in pens, and then we also share samples to some testers to see how they react to it. So for us, it's kind of a process before we can get colors out. So I certainly hope that we can have more colors sometime soon, but I definitely do love all the colors that we currently have, whether it be shimmer inks or non-shimmer inks. I think they're very as well, we are colorful, and I really like all of them. Yeah, question from Linda. Do you employ a group of people to design and make the pens, or is it just the two of you? It's definitely not just the two of us. So it started with the two of us, but then now we have expanded into a larger scale. So it's definitely of us now. For pen designs, for most of them, I personally design them, but there are also for some models, some aspect of the design is definitely have helps from other designers as well. And we have a great team of people working together to create our pens, whether from deciding on the shape and the feel of the pen, to the colors of them, to how they look. So yeah, I'm definitely very appreciative of my entire team now. Yeah. Question from Ross. Have you considered level 6? I don't think so. That has never came up our conversations or any of ours. Another question is, have you any new finishing materials in your future pens? Yes. So for now, the materials has mainly be resin for the most part, and also ebonite for the most part of our Nautilus collection. Both are really exciting materials. I think the ebonites feel great, and then resin give you a really wide range of possibilities that you can explore with, which I really love. But for new materials, the new products that just early next year should come in a new finishing material that we have not worked with before. So yeah, definitely something very new. From Lyndon, how long does it usually take from the design stage to production? Do you sketch them out on paper first, and do you keep journals with your sketches in? Okay, I'll answer the last two questions first. Yes, I definitely sketch them out on paper first. the designs actually comes, I guess, sometimes when I'm traveling, sometimes when I'm on business trips. So it's not necessarily when I'm like actually focusing on designing pens. It just, the ideas pops out whenever almost. So when I have an idea, I kind of have a sketch of it. And then sometimes it's not like, I guess products don't come from one sketch. Maybe it's coming from multiple ideas that we're combining together. For example, our newest release collection, the Horizon collection, it came from, I believe, 3 different design ideas that we actually combined into one final product. So I, yeah, I definitely sketched them out on paper first, and I do keep journals with my sketch. That's how like I can refer back to prior designs where I can be like, oh, I think this idea and that idea work together, so we can put them together to create a new pen, which is also very exciting. How long does it usually take from a design stage to production? That actually varies. So for some, like for easier projects, it can take up to a few months where, you know, we have the design, we finalize how it looks, and then we from the sketches to the like production files, and then they get to the factory and then they work on it. That, like, if it's relatively easy, it takes a few months, less than a year generally. For new ideas, we currently have a few of those that we're exploring with, including the one we're releasing next year. Those take much longer. For example, the one that we're releasing, how they can be done, and that takes a long time. And then since we're working with new materials that we're not familiar with, also new ways for pens to function, that also takes longer. So for that project, it's we I think we had the design sometime like mid of last year, I would say. We're hoping to get it out sometime early next year. So like if you count that, it's almost 2 years between those. So it varies a lot, actually. Yeah. From Tom, have you personally been at any of the pen shows? If so, do you enjoy the speaking to pen users to get feedback, etc.? Yes, I have. I have been there ever since our first pen show at DC. I generally go to many of the pen shows in the US. I currently don't travel abroad due to personal restrictions almost. So, but I do go to US pen shows, and I really love talking to people about our pens. You know, it actually is really exciting for me to get feedback from people, to whether it be they telling me what they love about our pen or getting feedback of what they want to see improved so that we can, you know, work on it to have a better version of it almost. The original Plus collection also, it's, I guess, kind of like come from there. You know, we first launched our original collection back in 2019, and then I've been getting feedback from people saying, you know, the kind of want almost a demonstrator, but also in a colorful way. They want the ink fillings, they want like vacuum ink filling systems. And then we kind of just got those feedback, and then we created the new Original Plus collection that succeeded the original collection. So yes, I definitely love talking to people about our pens or about pen in general, about, you know, so it's very exciting. Will there be another Peter Draws pen? I am, I don't have a definitive answer for now. Just because the Peter Draws pen involve multiple parties involved. It's not a decision solely for us to make. So it involves many different moving parts to make something like that happen. So, but I would say we are still in connection. We're still in the talks, so it's possible, but nothing definitive for now. From Tom, massive fan of the original plus. The back filler is brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, we're very excited for that as well. Just because I think for us it's also very important to see that we're iterating and getting better on our products that towards what people actually want and to products people would really like. So that's very important to us. Thank you. Also from Tom, the Narwhal location range, will we see some London or Edinburgh ones at some point? Well, maybe you never know. I mean, we
My internet has been really terrible this evening. Sorry, Samuel.
oh good.
It's really interesting hearing about the processes that you go through to do this and the color inspiration. In terms of pens and using nibs, what's your preference nib size, or do you do a bit of everything?
Yes. I generally do. So, I I would rarely use the stub, but just for me personally, it's mostly fine and medium. For I have used extra fines before, but in recent years I have felt like fine medium are more of sizes for me. Extra fine might be a little too fine for, but yeah, I have used extra fine before. When I first started, it would just be extra fine and fine. But then now I think I generally prefer fine and medium overall. The one I have not used is the double broad, which I have not tried. But I'm assuming it's a little too broad for me, given that a broad is broad enough. So yeah, for me. From George, if you had a magic wand without technical or financial constraints, what pen would you most like to make? Yes. So I think, I think a good part of like having a pen brand that you personally founded is that you kind of have that one that um um for technical challenges, we have experienced engineers working on those, trying to figure out a way. And for financial constraints, we generally, um, I guess, put products in a longer span if we have financial difficulties funding those projects. So we actually have a few projects in the work, still in the exploratory phase, very early, but those would, I guess, would be the pen that I most want to make for sure. So it's very exciting to see them maybe coming to life one day and then having them being like explored and then trying to solve the issues that are limiting them from coming. So yeah, I guess our our new products that's coming out next year, that's definitely one of them. And then some more in the work, but still very early, so I'm not sure if they'll ever see the light. But yes, so very exciting. And yeah, it's definitely a huge blessing to be able to do that. I know in a larger corporation or a larger brand where you would have many constraints and many limitations as to what you can do, but for us, it's definitely great being able to explore all these options that I would like to. Yes. From time, the biggest issue for you in the industry, for example, logistics, sustainability. I wouldn't say I would be able to. One of the things that we're trying to look into is sustainability and eco-friendly. Just because, you know, as we grow into a larger brand, we do see a lot of carbon footprint, and also thinking of like how and our like hack the environment. So it's been a focus point for us that we're looking into. We're trying to figure out ways to make. So that's one thing, mine for sure. And I guess logistics for us, it's a gradually improving process almost. So just because we started very small and then we kind of grew into what we are today, so we're learning throughout the process to improve gradually, to be able to support the company, the brand that we are today. So yeah, I guess that's just you mentioned two really great points. I think that's personally for us. I guess again, I wouldn't be able to speak for the industry. I think also because we are a relatively small brand compared to the various outlets, so we would have very different. Yes, another question from Paul. Have you ever had a design that did not succeed the way you wanted? Yes, for sure. Many of them, I would say. So, um, I think this might be due to many different reasons, just like technical or financial. Would have prototype out and that would actually work, but then after they come out, you realize, oh, this might not look as great as I hoped it would, or this looked great, but it doesn't feel so good writing with it. Um, or there are other designs where it would logistically it would require us to order a huge amount of it for it to be sustainable, and we definitely cannot sell that huge amount of it, which is why we cannot proceed with so many different reasons for why a design might not come out to life or might not succeed. So yes, we have many of those, but it's definitely also fun to explore with all of them. And then it's also a learning process, I think. So after having those designs, I guess it kind of teaches me how, like, what kind of design might work better, what kind of design logistically are more feasible, etc. So that's good as well. From Dominic, if you could dream what Narwhal would be as a brand in 10 years, what would that look like? Oh, that is a very great question. Um, I think I want so I guess as I mentioned, I want, um, aesthetic. I want Narwhal to look great. I also want Narwhal to be inspiring in a way. You know, I want Narwhal to inspire people to write, to um, jot down their lives, to kind of accompany them through adventures in life. So I also want Narwhal to be bold, to stand for whatever people believe in, to be a part of their expression of how they're feeling. So I guess as a brand, I hope that people are experiencing their lives and expressing themselves with their narwhal. Um, I don't have anything specific of what I want the brand to be like, but I definitely want narwhal to be more of a part of more people's lives and to, help people or inspire people to express themselves more. So that's kind of my wish in a way. And from Ross, which country buys most of your pens? USA. Yes, for now, yes, the United States is the largest country that buys, no, the country that buys most of our pens. Also, we have a relatively huge presence in UK, the Europe. We also started having presence in Australia and New Zealand. So yeah, I'm also always very excited to expand into more markets, to have more people have their hands on our wool for sure. So yes, but for now, to answer the question, yes, the country that buys most of our pens would be the United States. Another question from Tom. Obviously, current fountain pen users are a good market. How do you inspire more younger people into using pens in the digital age? Yes, so I think that's one of the reasons that we recently started focusing on our social media presence. We kind of want people to, I know people like using social media, but I kind of want to reflect on social media that, using pens and writing things down is actually a kind of lifestyle in a way. I think it feels quite different writing something down compared to typing it up or having it in your notes in your phone. I think it's just more, I guess, more personal, also more intimate in a way, to actually have that feel of your pen writing on the paper. So we definitely also want to reflect that in our social media to hopefully get more people's attention on pens. Yes, another question from Ross. Which dead person or alive person would you like to see using your pens? I guess I would actually want to answer with a group of people, which is like young kids or like college kids or like younger generation. Just because I think that is the group of people that tend to like not pay too much of an attention on pens or like writing in general. A lot of the even younger generation grew up in a digital age where um, they might not have the opportunity to experience the excitement of writing things down or like writing your diary or so I think it would be great to inspire the younger generation to pick up pens and then start writing things down. That would be very, very inspiring for me personally. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, Tom, Fountain Pen UK as a community do work to pass pens to schools, maybe something Norwalk could do in the USA. Oh, that sounds great. Yeah, it's something that we would definitely be interested in. Um, we so I think so for the early years of our brand's development, we've been focusing on developing great products, and then we have not put too much attention onto delivering our products to more people's hands and make people more aware of Narwhal as a whole. But I think recently we've started investing some of our efforts and energy into actually, I guess, make more people aware of the brand, and also maybe for them to echo with this kind of lifestyle and then get started with pens and with writing in general. So yeah, that's definitely something we're very interested in doing. From Ross, what do you think of the Monte Grappa, Viking, Samurai, and Gladiator pens? I guess, I mean, I wouldn't comment too much on them, just because I have not been a long time user of their pens. I guess I personally do not own one. It's just I've only had limited exposures or like experiences with them. So I wouldn't want to comment too much, but I think they look good, and they feel great. Other than that, I think I would only be qualified to say more if I have one and personally use them for a longer time. So yes. Another question from Paul. You have great product photographs. Thank you. Do you have a specific photographer design company that you use? So we do have a few photography partners that we alternate between depending on the style and the project. We have also recently started working with a new design photography partner that we just started working with. So yeah, we have a few of them that we depending on the use case and the scenario that we work with. Yes. Very few can afford those Monte Grappas. Yes, for sure. Me myself, I have not yet been able to get one myself. So yeah.
Samuel, this is a kind of an interesting one. Have you considered looking at some of the features around your pens about people who have kind of grip issues or physical challenges? Is that something that you've came across that you get requested or that anyone's asked you for before?
That has not been something we have been requested for, but it's definitely something that is on our radar. I think we have in a way we have not yet been able to focus too much of our energy on it. I guess also just because given the size of our brand, we're still growing in a way, and we don't have the in a way we don't have the resources yet to focus on those aspects, but it's definitely in our radar, and it's something that we would definitely want to take into consideration and look into once we have the time and energy and opportunity to do so. Yes. Another question is, would you do titanium nibs and number 8 nibs? Currently, I would my answer would be no, just because those not came up in any of our discussion or talks. I guess we currently don't have plans for those at the moment. If you could give us any short cryptic what 2024 will feature for you. So I guess aside from the new pen that I talked about and the pen of the year dragon pen, a a revolving theme that we draw inspiration from for our entire collection in 2024 is the seasons of the year. So we kind of drew inspiration from how spring look and feels like, how summer, autumn, winter, how they would feel, how what colors they're in, and then yeah, we drew some inspiration from those. So I guess that's kind of a clue as to something that we have planned for 2024. Another question from Steph. Do any of your UK suppliers sell your nibs? Currently we don't. I think the most direct way to get our nibs as of right now is to get it through our website.
Thank you for that, Samuel. It's been really interesting to hear lots of the things that you're doing, the things that you have done. If you could ask us questions, what would you ask us?
I guess that's something I've always been curious about is what is something that you would really want to see on pens, but you have not seen on any pens at all till now? I guess not till now, like up to now. Lasers, interesting.
I'm sure there's pens with laser pointers, Paul. I think that's a real difficult one. I think it's for me, I really like bright and colorful, so I would probably say something something, you know, maybe not lasers, but color changing, you know, heat changing, that kind of thing.
Mhm. Interesting. Yes, actually, fun fact, it is something that we have explored with our resin materials, but any plans yet. It's something that would like glow, like the material would actually glow in the dark. That's something we've explored with, but yeah, that might be something that kind of echoes what you just said. You a ruler or straight edge on the cap. Interesting. Okay. Interchangeable shells, caps and bodies, maybe. Okay. Very cool. More handworking pens, prefers pens that are mass produced. From Dominique, saying made with love by craftsmen. Yes, I guess replying to what Dominique has said, that's kind of the reason we created the Ikaku by Narwhal Red. That is, you know, we want to be able to share more, I guess it's not necessarily higher end, but more craftsmanship pens. We recently released a new pen in the Ikaku lineup that's using a new type of lacquer technique that has not been used on pens before. I think that's that kind of echoes what you say. Process takes several months to mature before it can be customer, and then artisans worked tens, if not hundreds of hours on them. So that's kind of our purpose of having the brand is to share those high craftsmanship artisan techniques on pens with people. Question from Andrew, what new techniques? Yeah, so it's actually a new kind of lacquer technique. You know, I think people are familiar with the Japanese lacquer technique, but this time we're using a new Chinese lacquer technique, which gives the body of the pen it's a really unique pattern that come out from this technique. And it's just as far as what I have known, it has not been used on fountain pens before. It looks, I guess it's hard to describe in a way like how it looks, but you can visit. I think it should be on our website. We just released the pen not long ago, so it's a Chinese traditional lacquer technique. I think it looked really beautiful. I have like ever since I saw this technique, several, I think it's like a year ago that I kind of insisted that we should try to bring this to fountain pens, and that's kind of what we did, which is exciting. But yeah, if you want, you can go to our website to check it out. It's a new one. It's called Nahvalur skin lacquer, I guess. Um, yes, that Ross just posted, that's the link. If you scroll down, there's one called Qiantan, which is the second one, I think, in the collection. But yes. Um, from the comments from Ross, interchangeable shells, maybe. So we currently don't have any plans for that in Narwhal, but new brand, not new brand, the brand that Frank currently is working on, Omas, might have plans for those that I'm not sure of, but we have talked briefly about those before. But it's definitely something we can look into to see if we have the possibility of exploring those personalization or customization. Thank you.
That's been really interesting, Samuel. I don't want to keep you too long, so I'll just shout and see if there's any other questions for you.
Yeah, do you see one from Paul asking, do you have any plans for angular barrel designs? There is one that is still very early, so I would not make any promises at the moment, but we're definitely exploring some of those options, and they're still in the works and being explored for sure.
As a personal fan of pocket pens, I'd love to see a kind of smaller, easily pocketed pen come from. So that's probably one of, my personal things. I love that kind of Coeco Sport sized pen. So something that kind of size, or the Travelers Company brass fountain pen, that kind of thing, something like that would be ideal. Do we have any other questions for Samuel? See if there's anything coming up. No.
Apologies, I've actually just literally joined the meeting, so I may ask a question which is already being joined. Did anyone ask the question about the sort of the brand name change? Because if it has been asked, then I'll watch the recording later. But yeah, I was
That's where we started from.
That was one of the first questions, Andrew.
I thought so.
Yeah, I guess I can cover very quickly. So we changed the name because trademark registration. Narwhal, the original word is too generic to be registered. That's why we changed. The new name is still being pronounced as Narwhal. It's the Icelandic version of the word Narwhal. We pick Icelandic because as far as what we know, it's the origin of the actual sea creature Narwhal. That's the short version.
Perfect.
That's brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. Other than that, Samuel, just thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Sure.
I think
Thank you for having me.
I think we can sneak peek. What I'll do is I'll end the recording. I'll stop the recording. So